Welcome to another month of our special event for two authors' books and a beverage. Today I'm having hot tea with lemon and some sugar. And Mary?
I'm having my usual wine.
Welcome, Mary. We should have fun today. We're going to talk about a fun book that I'm thinking you will love to read. We're not going to talk to Mary Martinez.
Nope.
We're going to talk to her alternate ego, and that would be M.L. Fox.
Right.
So, M.L.
Okay. So Irish. What?
How was M.L. Fox born? I want to know that first.
Okay. So first, I decided to write a fantasy book, and I always wanted to have this great big saga, Harry Potter style, this big, big book. And so I decided I wanted to call it Celtic Myst. And I mean, I've wanted to do this for years. And so I just couldn't make it come. It just wouldn't come to me. I knew I wanted to write it. But to keep to M.L. Fox, so when I finally did, I'll tell about how I came to write it. But when I finally did, I thought, well, everybody knows Mary Martinez as romance, women's fiction, romantic suspense. So do I want to throw in fantasy there? And I thought for a while I was going to. And it is on my website, but it's also got its own little M.L. Fox website right together with it. So I decided to have a different name for fantasy. So in the future, if I do any fantasy, I'm going to be M.L. Fox, or even if I decide to ever do science fiction, which I've kind of thought about, but not really. I love to watch science fiction. I'm not really a big reader. I do read fantasy, but science fiction kind of loses me, so I'm not sure if I'll ever do that. But if I do, it would be under M.L. Fox. So that's where that came from.
Great. Okay. Celtic Myst. What did you do with it?
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about the Irish. So in case you want to know, I'm an Irish princess today. So we'll bring that on for March. I'm always an Irish princess. And let me tell you, last year I was devastated because I have gone to the St. Paddy's Day parade on St. Paddy's Day for 25, 30 years. And last year they canceled the parade for the pandemic. And they closed all the bars down and restaurants down on St. Paddy's Day on the 17th. I was devastated because that's what I live for. I mean, I love Halloween and Christmas and Thanksgiving, but my number one holiday is St. Paddy's Day because I'm Irish. My whole life I felt a kinship for Ireland. Was I born there? No. I was adopted, so I didn't know what I was. And my mom was German, my dad was Danish, and none of them fit me. I didn't, the traditions, but Ireland, I've always said I was Irish. And who knew? Finally, I took the DNA, found my birth parents. I'm Irish. On my dad's side, mostly. Dolan and Fox is the two Irish names on my family side. There's a lot of other ones in there too, but the main one is Dolan. That's my grandparents that came over from, and they all live in New York. It's another thing why I love New York, I guess, because my family's there and I love New York. But anyway, so I'd always wanted to write a book for Celtic Myst. And then when I found out that I was Irish, I'm like, oh, I've got to write it. But the characters just wouldn't come until finally I visited Ireland. And then it was born. And
oh, wow. Question.
Yeah. Yes.
Question. Did you discover you were Irish before you actually started writing that book?
Yes.
Okay.
The idea to write Celtic Myst I had before I found out I was Irish, though.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't find out I was Irish until maybe 5, 6 years ago, and I've had this Celtic Myst in my drawer, and the premise, and wanting to write it for probably 10, 15 years. Wow. And it just wouldn't come. And so when I found out I was Irish, I knew I had to write it, but then it still wouldn't come. I thought, okay, now it's going to come, because no, it didn't until I visited. And the minute I stepped foot on Irish soil, a calm came over me, and I was home.
How exciting. Oh.
And I do have Scottish in me and English, but primarily Irish. And so when I was there, the characters started to talk to me, and the concept, and so I came up with it, and that's when I decided to write it. And I've always wanted to write the full book, like I said, a great big one. But as I was writing it, I got, some advice that maybe, people were liking to read shorter books. They didn't want a big book. And so I against my better judgment for me, I thought, okay, well, if the readers would rather read 3 books, so I made it into a trilogy. And the problem is it's a true trilogy where you have to read each book, and you have to read them in order. They're not standalones. And it's a saga, it's a family. It starts in 5,000 years ago BC in Ireland, and it has, if you are any familiar with Ireland at all, that there's a place called Newgrange, and it's the tomb of the gods, and it's been there for 5,000 BC, since 5,000 BC. It's one of the oldest, what do they call, architecture in the world. And so that has a very big part of my book, is because it takes place, and it means a lot, because I have a lot of Celtic myth in my book, a lot of Celtic, gods, like the Dudannans, which they were descendants from Tuatha De Danann. The whole thing is about it's called a Coupon de Flourish, and I'm not quite sure, I keep listening to how to say it in Gaelic, but that's kind of it. It's a little bit wrong, but that's how you say it. And it means cup of abundance. And the family's wizard made this cup to bring abundance and prosperity and good luck to their family. And of course, the Wicked Witch wants it, And so the whole thing starts and goes clear to modern time and comes around full circle and ends in 5,000 BC.
Oh, so it starts in 5,000 BC?
And goes to the future and comes back.
Oh, it comes to the future?
Yeah.
Present day?
Yeah, present day.
And so then it goes back to 5,000 BC? Right. Wow. Right. Wow.
And so I got a review of the full trilogy, and the more I thought about it, the more I read the review, and I thought, my initial gut instinct was to make it one book. And so I went through and I tweaked it, and I took out, instead of the 3 books, it is now 1 book. It's only going to be available in 1 book. It reads like 1 book, it's consecutive, and so that way you don't have to buy all 3. And the ebook sells for $7.99, and the full book sells for $14.99. However, for the month of March, it's going to be $5.99 for the ebook, and I think $12.99 for the print book. And you have to keep in mind, it is a big book, and so it's a full book, but it's literally at least 3 parts. It is 3 parts. So
wow, I think that sounds great. I'm really happy that you made it into 1 book. I am a firm believer, as a writer and an author, that you really need to go with your instincts. Yep. When you are writing something. I really do believe that.
Yep. You'd think after how long I've been writing, I mean, I've always wanted to write since I was a little girl, but I never really seriously did it until about 20 years ago, maybe a little bit more. I keep putting it off because, you know, I want to write a book, but it's kind of intimidating.
It
And
is.
so I
it
keep
is.
putting it off and putting it off until finally my kids were older and I'm like, okay, I'm writing it. So I did. And you'd think with how long I've been that I would start, because I'm one of those people, I go to conferences, I go to workshops, I go to things, I absorb it, and then I try everything. And you've got to learn, and I think I'm doing this now, I think I finally learned, you've got to take what works for you.
Yeah,
And
I agree with that.
yeah, so.
So you had 3 different book covers. Now you're going to have 1 book cover.
Yep. Do you want to see it?
I want to see it.
Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. And here is the book cover. And I love it.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, look at the fire. The fire around it is a dragon. I love it.
It's one of my favorites. And plus you've got the Celtic cross in the middle and the knots, and it just works.
Oh,
so,
I love it. I do. I like it. Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I decided to go and make it 1 full book. And
Yep.
I don't think I have a granddaughter that reads Harry Potter's huge books.
I know.
You know, she doesn't think anything about it, you know.
Nope.
I think a lot of people like a large book. I really do. The story, there's more to it. It goes on, you know, instead of reading a short story and it's over so fast, you go, oh.
Yep. Yeah, I like to read bigger books. That's just me. And so I like to write. I cannot write short stories. I've got a couple of novellas and they just aren't satisfying because I want to make them more. You know, I want to, so.
Add to it. Yeah. Make it more interesting. Well, I'm so glad to hear about this story. I hope you guys get her book and read. She's going to give one away in our bag. Remember, we have a bag of the month every once in a while we'll give away. Well, ML Fox is going to put one of her books in here that will you'll be able to read for the winner that gets it. I'm excited about that, Mary. I really am. ML Fox.
Yes. So on the bag is a picture of the original cover for the first book, but you'll get a book of all 3. I have a couple of books with all 3 that set like the trilogy, but as of March 1st, all the books, the only ones available will be the full book and not the trilogy, which is basically the same thing. So it's not big.
And they can look you up on your website and look up ML Fox on your website and go to where they can purchase one.
Yeah, it's available pretty much everywhere. The print is available on Amazon. I'm not sure if it's available on Barnes and Noble yet. It should be by March. I'm not sure, you know, well, it is March, but I'm not quite sure because when you put it on Amazon, when you do the print through Amazon, it does distribute it to Barnes and Noble.
Right, true. Well, I hope you guys enjoy reading this book during the month of March. And during the month of March, read some other Irish books. If you read a good one, let us know. Also, if you see a good movie, Irish movie, let us know. The only thing I can think of, Mary, when we were trying to think of Irish movies was that contemporary romance called
Leap Year.
Leap Year.
And here it is. Here's what we're talking about right there.
Yeah, Leap Year. That was the only one I could remember. That was a cute romance. It's been a while since I've seen it. I think I better watch it again.
Yeah, me too.
I remember enjoying it. It was starring Adams.
Amy Adams and Matthew Good.
Amy Adams, yeah. And I thought it was really a cute movie. I think I need to see it again because I can't remember a lot about it. But it does take place in Ireland.
Yep, go on.
I don't remember of any other Irish movies offhand.
I do. I'm going to have one here for you in just a moment.
Okay.
I'm looking it up and trying to get just the...
And I went through all of my books on my shelf that I've read and have purchased, and to-be list books that I've got to read. I didn't have any that took place in Ireland.
Well, here is my favorite Irish one is The Quiet Man with John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara and
Oh,
Barry
wow, that's an
Fitzgerald.
oldie.
It is way old, but it is the best movie ever. It's one of my favorites. Now, I tried to find it when I went to Ireland. That movie was filmed in Cong, which is by Ashford Castle, and we walked there. And they have a bronze statue of just that picture that I just showed you with him carrying her.
Really?
And I have my picture by it. I wish I could have found it in time for today.
Oh,
Maybe I'll put it on the, the credits or something.
Too.
Yeah, yeah.
On your website too.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow. If any of you have been to Ireland and love it or have some things to tell us or show us, please let us know. We'd like to know. Like to hear from you.
And let us know what your Irish traditions are. Mine was going to the parade, which this year they're canceling too. So hopefully in 2022, I'll get to go to my Irish St. Patty's Day parade. But I like to make shepherd's pie. I like to make Irish stew. I like to make Irish soda bread. There's just all kinds of good, solid comfort food from Ireland.
I don't have any tradition that I do for March for Irish or St. Patty's Day or ooh.
Well, I have enough for you, so
Okay.
there you go.
All
you
right.
can share with me.
My birthday is in March. We do celebrate that, but yeah, as far as
So is mine. I'm an Irish lady born in March. So.
Oh wow! Yeah. Well,
so, sorry, I had to take off that crown.
Next month in April, we have a
Right.
special guest, right?
Yes, we do. Lisa.
Lisa McDonald's.
Yep. And she does LDM graphics, I believe it is.
Book covers. Is she the one that did your book
Yes.
cover for your Celtic
Yes, she
Myst?
did.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
I'm going to pull it up right here. Let me show you.
Okay.
And okay, so this is who will be visiting us next month in April. She does custom covers, graphics, and as you can see, they're very enticing. And so she's going to tell us how a book cover can make a reader pick up your book.
Oh, great. Yeah, judge a book by its cover, you know.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. Do you pick a book by your cover? If you saw a book and it has a terrible cover, do you pick it up?
You know, I probably would if the title caught me.
Yeah.
If the title caught me and I didn't care for the book cover, I might still flip it over to read the blurb, you know?
Right.
But if I see a book cover that really draws me in, I got to read the blurb on it on the back immediately.
Right, right. You know?
So it would, if I didn't like the book cover, but the title spoke to me, then I would, you know, otherwise maybe not, you know.
And I've had books that I would never have picked up that we read at book club. Right. And the book cover and the book title would have never, ever drawn me in. If I'm at Barnes & Noble and I'm going around and I see a cover that draws me, I'll pick it up. But if I look at one and it's got a bad cover, and titles, I don't even know if that's what makes me pick them up. I just know that it's the cover usually. Unless it's a book that someone has recommended. If they say, you have got to read this book. It's really fantastic. And I find it, and the book cover is terrible, I would still pick that up because somebody recommended it.
Somebody recommended it. Yeah, okay. Well, ML Fox, it was fun talking to you and chatting about your Celtic Myst. And remember, everyone, at the end of this video, the winner will be announced
For the
month of
February.
February, yes. And I do hope you join us for the month of April to talk and interview with Lisa McDonald and her book covers, okay?
Right. And be sure and look at our schedule on the channel, because we're trying to reach out to some other people to interview so that we keep it fresh and everything. So we're hoping to have a guest in June. May, I believe we're going to talk to Judy Baker. We've talked to Anna Suggs, so we're going to talk to Judy Baker. But in June, we're trying to get someone. So keep an eye out on our schedule for who's coming up. Okay?
If you have a suggestion, please email us and we'll see if we can get that person on board too. Don't forget to enter the raffle copter, okay?
Yes. Okay, so see you guys.
Have a good month.
Cheers. Drink lots of wine. I meant to say read lots of book and, you know, Freudian slip. So anyway, see you guys later.